Right. So we wanted to talk briefly about our fascinating 11 topics for 11 months, the curriculum of our academy. And I'm wondering whether we should go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whether we should just, pick a card or pick a number and then say, let's discuss this. What's your feeling about that?
Yeah, pick a number.
Pick a number?
I like surprise parties.
Yeah, and yeah. So I pick a number and the number is three. And number
Number
three,
three. Yep.
number three. And number three is fears and control. Our need to control life stems from fear. We reflect on our fears and we release them in sacred ceremonies. Fears and
Yeah,
control.
and some of the paths that we follow on this topic is, are your fears real? There's the fear, immediate fear for your life, for your safety, or is this a fear that has been embedded by society, by family? Is this a fear that it's a pattern that has been repeated over time, over time? So in this class, we like to delve into those fears and get people to go deeper and really look at, is this fear a real fear? Or is this fear something that I've been taught to fear and there's no justification for it? So that we explore those areas of our lives from the beginning of our memories and our DNA.
Mm, right. Would you like to say a number next time?
Pardon me?
Would you like to say a number? Or do you want me to say another
Oh,
number?
the number. The 7.
Seven, wow, that fits very well because seven is ancestors' DNA. That's our seventh topic, the seventh month, and we look at the cellular memories of all our ancestors from across time and everything our ancestors experienced, their wisdom, their skills, and their talents from across time is inborn.
Which ties into our fears and control. That's funny how that works. Because we carry the fears of our ancestors. And they had lots to fear throughout their decades and centuries of lifetimes. Um, and we carry that fear, but now those fears are no longer valid in specific cases. Like the Black Plague. We no longer have to fear the Black Plague, and thousands and thousands and thousands died from that, or the fear of dying from that. Those who didn't die, but the fear of it. So just as an example, that is carried in the DNA through generation after generation, and so we have to look at that to let go of the fear and control. But then also we have to embrace their wisdom and their joy and their talents and their accomplishments, because we also carry all of that in our DNA. So as we're looking at our ancestral cellular memory, we look at our passions. We look at our environment where we prefer to live. We look at our decor and how we love to decorate our homes and how we love to dress. That'll give you a lot of hints about your ancestry and um, how that has influenced you on an unconscious level. I remember once when I first connected with an ancient Ukrainian grandmother, and she showed herself to me. She used to come to me as a bear, and then she showed herself to me as a person, and I recognized her because she looked like me, so I knew she was a relation. And I said to her, "Where have you been all my life?" And she says, "Well, I'm the bear that would come in your dreams." And then I looked at her in her Ukrainian regalia, and I'm going, "Well, that explains all the Ukrainian influences I have in my life." She's been with me the whole time, influencing me and directing me down a certain path because her DNA is very strong in me. So We like to explore that, our ancestral DNA, and see what surprises we can come up with, and clarity of ourselves.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I also like that we look at the positive side too, and not only think about, what we inherit from the shadow
Yeah,
side. I
that
like that.
balance.
Mm,
There's
yeah,
always that balance, and then there's balance in everything. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I sometimes wonder where I get, my talent or my calling to write, because in my immediate ancestors line, there's no one who writes, but it must be somewhere from, from the past. So
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And you don't.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Let's go to topic number 2 in the second month, the space in between realities, where we step out of the
Ah,
persona we were told to be and connect with the space in between with infinite wisdom, and we step in our power.
yeah. Well, again, because all these topics do fold together, and this does tie the space between realities. Does again tie into our ancestors, because that's a reality. That's a space in our reality. But also, we are multidimensional. So we exist in multiple dimensions and multiple realities, multiple timelines. And we tend to only focus on the one that we are conscious of in the moment, but we are influenced by all the timelines that we are present in, across time and across space, across planets, across universes. We connect with all of that. And the space is where we can step out of our 3D self, who we think we are, and be the observer and see in a clearer way the space, let go of the emotion of that moment. And that's especially when we're experiencing some challenges and some emotional trauma, is to step out of that space into the observer space, and that space between the realities, so that you have clearer thinking, and easier ability to process what is happening around you.
Mm. The next topic that we have a closer look at is, let's start with topic number 1. And I would be particularly interested why you chose that topic as your first topic, which is the power and the magic of creating your own personal ceremonies.
Well, I've walked with many Indigenous leaders, here in Canada, and in Europe, and in Iceland, and in Greenland, and in Mexico. And everywhere, people are doing ceremonies in their own ways, in their own culture, in their own traditions. And if you go into a church, when they're doing the prayer and they're singing to the heavens, that's a ceremony. Lighting a candle and saying a prayer is a ceremony. When you look around your house and you look at all the precious items that you have accumulated from your adventures and your time, or gifts from some very special people, and family members, and they're laid out so that you can always remember that moment when you received that moment where you visited that's an altar. So then, when I instruct people to perform a ceremony, I said, go around your home. If you don't have particular things like crystals and feathers and smudging bowls and all of that, and you just have stuff around your house, go around your house without thinking, and just whatever catches your eye, grab it, grab it, grab it, and lay it out on a cloth on the table or somewhere special. And then when you look at what you collected, look to see if there's a theme of those collections, and look to see what was most important and why did you pick those items. And then that kind of guides you towards what kind of ceremony you want to have, whether it's a water ceremony or an earth ceremony or a fire ceremony or a forgiveness ceremony. I've been involved in many ceremonies, but there's many more ceremonies that I haven't been involved in. So it's just a short list that I personally have experienced. But Through ceremony is where we can step into the space between the pages. Through ceremony is where we can connect with our ancestor cellular memories and heal the wounds and celebrate the joys. So the ceremony is an integral part of all of these topics because it's the ceremony that helps us go deeper.
And you just mentioned the ceremony of forgiveness as one example, and forgiveness is the topic for our third month. Um, yeah. And I had some powerful ceremonies around forgiveness when I used the Ho'oponopono. Can you say a few words to that?
Ah, yeah, the forgiveness ceremony. I mean, I've had a lot of challenges in my life and a lot of people that at first, when I first started this journey, didn't want to forgive them because I didn't feel they deserved it. And this is my own family, my own ancestors. I didn't want to forgive them. I didn't feel they deserved it because they were so nasty. And Spirit said, well, you're not going to go any further with this spiritual journey of yours until you forgive your ancestors. And so I had to go back and acknowledge their wrongdoings and acknowledge the fact that these weren't my wrongdoings. I don't have to carry that anger and that shame because I didn't do it. And whatever it was that they felt they needed to do at the time, there was obviously some major challenges happening in their lives that propelled them forward. So by forgiving them, I was able to really launch myself into my journey and to go discover the rest of my, this is my Celtic ancestors that I didn't want to forgive. So once I had forgiven them, then I was propelled into discovering the rest of my DNA, the rest of my ancestors, and the rest of my cellular memory. But this was the block that was keeping me from going deeper, was because of this hatred and anger. And you can't go deeper when you're embroiled in hatred and anger. So the forgiveness is for not to let them off the hook, is to let yourself off the hook.
Mm, mm. I love that. That's so liberating, isn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm. And so we cover the first four topics, and the fifth topic, now I'm just going to go down in order for us not to forget one, is the fifth topic is trust your own authority. We explore how to feel competent in our life choices and allow life to flow.
Uh, how many of you out there follow the direction that you were told to follow by your parents, by school, by society, by whatever religious group that you're involved in, whatever cultural group you're involved with? And so they have the authority over you. You can't seem to make a move or a decision because their authority says you're not allowed. So I'm asking people to take a look at what's holding you back from moving forward. Who authority do you have? Do you have your own authority to move forward? Or are you going to allow programming from everything going on around you, past, present, and future, to prevent you from moving forward? So you have to, and it's difficult to trust your own authority when you've been taking direction from somebody else all your life, from a parent or from a husband or from a wife or a teacher. And then now you got to stand on your own 2 feet, make your mistakes, own up to them, improve on them, move forward. That's part of trusting your own authority. It's not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be all hearts and flowers. There's going to be a lot of falling down in the mud. And then you say, okay, I guess I won't do that again. I've learned my lesson on that. So we go into different aspects of trusting your own authority and some of the consequences. I mean, what choices we make in life, we also have to live with the consequences of those choices.
Mm, mm. And following the trust your own authority topic, we have the sixth topic, truth versus ego.
Mm. Yeah. Truth versus ego. So the ego, the brain, thinks it knows everything. It's been to school, it's read books, it's watched documentaries, it's listened to teachers, it's listened to the ancestors, and it knows. It's accumulated knowledge. And truth is in the heart. It's the transparency of who you are. The ego likes to mask. I'll only show you what I want you to see, and I'm not going to show you my depths. I'm going to show you my superficial self, because my superficial self is perfect. But the truth is, I'm fallible. The truth is, I'm often broken. And the truth is, I have to keep picking myself up and brushing myself off and moving forward again. That's my truth. And ego, it doesn't need a pat on the back. It doesn't need fame. It doesn't even need a lot of money. It just needs to be happy and at peace. And when I'm happy and at peace, everything that I need comes to me without effort, without having to be superficial.
That is beautiful. There's a lot of hope in there when you find out the difference between when you can distinguish between truth and ego. Mm. So in the 8th month, we move to exploring the collective consciousness and its effect on us. It can be universal, worldly, or local within your environment, and we discern how we are influenced by collective consciousness and how we can stand in our power.
Yeah. And that's the truth versus ego again, a little bit coming into there, is because ego wants to be the savior, ego wants to be the warrior, because in both cases, you're the hero. But in the collective consciousness, what we put into it in a compassionate, truthful way is what affects those around us. If we put anger and dismissiveness and judgment into the collective consciousness, then we get that back. It bounces right back at us. And the collective consciousness also what's happening around the world with fires and floods and wars and politics and child trafficking. There's so many things that are filling people's heads with trauma and drama, and we get pulled into that collective consciousness of trauma and drama and chaos energy. So we have to protect ourselves from that chaos energy, and yet in this bubble I use, a soap bubble of protection, but from this soap bubble of protection I can send out positive frequency around the world, and I do it on a regular basis, and it's through ceremony, through prayers, through lighting a candle and sending healing, sending peace. We do that collective consciousness across time, because we can pick up through the collective things that have happened in the ancient past. We can pick up things that are happening in our current life and the other side of the world. And we can pick up the future. But we can also manifest it through our collective consciousness. So if we get enough people, which we are at the tipping point of the percentage of people needing to tap into the positive collective consciousness, it'll tip the whole world consciousness into peace. And there's not just me saying it, there's people all over the world saying this, and we're that close. So I'm focused on adding my positivity to the collective and aiming for that tipping point where the world itself will tip into the peace collection consciousness instead of the fear. And this is the fear and control. The wars and all of this is going on is all about fear and control. So that's the old paradigm, the fear and control. And the collective is getting rid of that. And so those that are still hanging on to the war and the fear and control is the last ditch effort to keep that power. But our love and compassion, collective consciousness is slowly erasing it bit by bit. That's my view anyway.
Mm. So then, when we have explored the effects of the collective consciousness, we move to three quite different topics. The ninth topic is life, death, and the aftermath. We realize we are energy that can never die, and we are here to have a human experience, lifetime after lifetime, how to connect with spirit guides, and how we could connect or recover lost soul fragments.
Yeah, and the spirit guides, I mean, can be anybody from our soul cluster. And that's the energetic cluster, family cluster that exists on the other side. And we come to Earth, like we have our contract, we come to Earth, have our earthly experiences, which is filled with challenges and trauma for those who wanted to experience that, and how we can come out of it and how we can help others come out of it. Myself, I'm a demonstrator soul. I demonstrate how it can be done by doing it, by getting broken, by being traumatized, by being challenged. And then I have to work my way through it. And I show people how I'm working my way through it. And I show how the success of working my way through it. And then there's the life and death. It's going back into our past lives, and where little soul fragments are split away, fragmentized, and trapped in that loop of time at that moment of death. So we learn how to help them come home to ourselves. And then also let me see, the life and death and aftermath. Myself and many others that I know out there often are called to go to places where there's trapped souls that have been lost in time. In Munich, I was at a solstice ceremony next to a graveyard, which turned out to be, a dumping ground for 10,000 people who had died of the Black Plague in the 1300s. And then all of a sudden, I show up and they see my light and they're going, "Oh, the light is here." So that little simple summer solstice ceremony turned into a grand awakening for the entire graveyard to pass through the light. And so there's very different aspects of life, death, and aftermath, and we will cover all the different aspects and people's personal experiences or confusions, get some clarity on where they stand on that.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I connected with you, because that was one of the few experiences I had. I couldn't figure out what that meant, and you were really very helpful to explain to me, what that is. So thank you. Yeah. The second last topic is parallel worlds and other dimensions. Other cells
And
are walking this current Earth, past Earth, even other planetary forms. We tap into our existence in alternate worlds and dimensions.
yeah, that one kind of ties into the space between the pages, because in the space between the pages is where we can go to parallel worlds and parallel realities. And so by practicing the space between the pages, we can have a better understanding when we get to this topic here. And how people what I explained there, I think it was in the last group, we talked about if you look at past, present, future, Earth, other planets, other universes, all in little fine segments, but across the whole screen. Let's say it's across me and I got all these segments. So I am in all of those simultaneously, past, present, future, on Earth, other planets, other dimensions, other universes. So I can tap into myself in that reality, that parallel world, that dimension, and retrieve information that I need to use in this reality. And so we help people to get a clarity on that and even maybe practice a bit. And that is done through ceremony. So that's why ceremony is carried down through all of the topics, because ceremony helps us go to that place between the pages, that space through the universe, so that we can access our consciousness in other parallel realities and dimensions. So yeah, they all tie together. Very, very neat little package.
Yeah, and the last topic, the 11th topic, is quantum mechanics. We explore manifesting life here on Earth, experience of time and space looping, shape-shifting, remote viewing.
Mm. Well, manifesting life here on Earth, the way I've been doing it, and it's been quite successful for several decades, is I review what I need to survive and to be happy. Not what I want, because that's the ego talking. What I need is what the heart needs and what the emotions need and what the body needs for survival. Water, food, shelter, warmth, family, community, because we are community people. Those are our needs. And by putting it out there with what is needed in the current time, I'd say make a list. And okay, this is my needs. Do what you can. Show me, and I will take notice. And when I take notice, I'll take action. And it works every time. The trick is to be observant and see what little clue shows up to take. This is the path that's going to take you to that path, that's going to take you to that path, that's going to manifest what you need. But it's again trust in your heart, faith in yourself and your ability to manifest. And then the universe will set up an event or an opportunity, but don't overthink it. And don't have any expectations on how it's got to turn out. Just say, okay, sure, I'll give that a try. And then you kind of go with the flow of it with no expectations and see how it turns out. And you'd be surprised how everything turns out to be more than you thought you needed. Because by putting your wants on there, you're limited by your ego. Whereas the universe says, that's all you want? I could give you more if you just let me have the free reign here. So that's the manifesting part. And astral projection, and I've done that a few times where, I've consciously done it. Well, unconsciously and consciously at the same time, where I remember doing it, and I'm interacting with the person, where I thinking of a person who is in a distant place, and I can actually appear to them in their location, and they will see me. And I had them report back. I said, "What are you doing outside my window?" I said, "I'm not outside my window. I'm an hour away in my office. But I see you outside my window." I said, "Oh, okay. I've come to cheer you up. Is it working?" So that sort of thing. And I often wonder how many times we project ourselves somewhere and somebody sees us, but unless they report back to us, we don't know that we projected ourselves and somebody saw us. We're just appearing here and appearing there, and we have no idea that we're doing it, because we think of a person or think of a place, and next thing we know, our image appears there. And the same thing with remote viewing. You visualize a place where you want to, with an intention. Again, I do it in ceremony, and where I can go and see what is happening in that location. Where I've worked with some rescue situations and locating people, and I can see where they are. I don't have the exact longitude and latitude or GPS for and all that, but I can give you distance and landmarks. Go this far, stop at the stone church, turn right, and go about this far, and then on your that's the other side, you'll see a castle. And you go to the back of the castle. There's a woods there, and I've been seeing this, and helping people to locate missing. I've done that a couple of times. So the remote viewing, the shape shifting. All right, so shape shifting is people often say, well, I've shapeshift into my power animal. That's within their own consciousness, their own thinking. They can feel that for instance, a polar bear. I have one of my power animals is a polar bear, and I would not intentionally shapeshift into the polar bear, but as I'm standing in my power, I'm in the polar bear energy, the power of the polar bear. And I've had people who don't know me, total strangers, and watching my ceremony afterwards come and say, and this is in Munich again, they said, I saw you, the ice bear. I saw the ice bear. And then it's happened to me in Germany several times where people saw me as the ice bear. And I had I wasn't saying I'm the ice bear now. And I didn't, go into that concept of being the ice bear. I just was the ice bear. And so other people could actually see it. And then I've done it once when I shapeshift into a puma, and someone saw a puma walking across the room, and I go, oh, didn't mean to do that. So there's types, and then shapeshifting into water, shapeshifting into the earth, and becoming one with the lava, the center of the earth, becoming one with the air, becoming one with the water. I mean, that's also shapeshifting, where you step out of your physical human 3D body, and you're energetically joining in with the elements around you, because we are all one. So helping people to experience that beautiful experience of being more than just yourself.
Wow. Wow, yeah, that's the 11th topic, and that's the end of our curriculum. Thank you very, very much for that
Yeah.
overview, Gail. We are learning a lot. We are nearly finished with the first class. We're starting a new class end of September or in autumn this year. So we are really looking forward to discussing and exploring these topics with new people. So if you feel called, please get in contact with us, and we can give you some more material and some more information.
Yeah. And don't forget that I'm going to be in Bavaria in late September. So those that are going to be in the area or who live in the area, please come and join us at Suzanne's house. And that information will be on our website.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. So the best is, if you haven't registered for the Academy yet or for the newsletter of the Academy, please go to our website, academyoftimelesswisdom.com, and register there. And then you're getting all the information about what's going on in the next months. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Please join us. Please join us.
Please
Thank
join
you.
us.